Okay, brother, let's do this, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about this one. This is so cool. Right, should we start?
Yep, let's do
Let's
it.
go. All right, guys, welcome, Borislav. I'm so excited that he is here. Borislav did basically Limitless Rewired Ultra Hard because he did 75 hard with me at the same time. And that's why, like, his story is just exciting, guys. And I'm so happy that you're here and with us today, Borislav. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Johannes is an absolute beast when it comes to all of this, so I'm also excited to be here. Uh, as he already presented, like my name is Borislav. I run a lead generation agency based in Europe, and we help software companies scale their pipelines using AI. That's the short story. I met Johannes through, an internal group that we have, where basically we are business owners that we run the same businesses. And I was immediately captivated by your energy. So, obviously that increased when we did the challenge. We ran a marathon as well, which we didn't
Yes.
mention last year in Oslo in September, which was without any preparation almost on our parts.
That's
Being
great.
able to being able to run this was, it speaks volumes on the people that we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, the marathon, the 75 hard challenge, and obviously limitless reward. Um, all of this came together to improve me as a person and as a business owner, and I'm excited to talk about this today.
Super fireman. So great to have you. All right. So it's at eight essential questions. First of all, I want to know the before situation. So before we work together, what specific mental virus or limiting belief was sabotaging your success that you couldn't see at the time? And what strategies did you know you should implement but kept finding yourself unable to execute it?
Yeah, I mean, before joining Limitless Reward, I would say for me and for a lot of people I may be speaking to about this, but I was stuck in an invisible loop, kind of, where I was just like overcomplicating everything, and I wasn't sure where that overcomplication came from. So, what this would look like is I tell myself like I had to build more systems, I had to focus on operations within the business, and I had to perfect my service delivery and all of that stuff before like going after big clients. But deep down, like I didn't realize that the problem was actually within me and not the systems I was building on Notion, Airtable, or whatever software you want to name. So yeah, for me it was avoidance before joining Limitless Reward, avoidance of the actual problem. And personally, for me, I knew I should be doing more outbound. I knew I should show up publicly and lean into actually positioning myself as an expert. But I, for some reason, kept holding back on that. And I, for example, just to give you a fair presentation, like I would open my laptop, like with the intention to send DMs, send more cold emails, post on LinkedIn, post on YouTube, do all of that. But somehow I would end up tweaking my Notion page, tweaking my ClickUp page, responding to someone on Slack. So I was never doing what I was supposed to do. So that was my
Man.
situation before Limitless Reward.
Fireman. Okay, so you had an implementation problem. Let's put it together.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, what did you try? Did you try anything before to fix that, or?
Yeah, I think I tried to force structure in my life. So
Mhm.
onto myself, so that would be like building more to-do lists, like more project management boards, as I said, more tracking systems. But all of these systems that I tried to force upon myself were external systems. So not in my actual operating system, which we're gonna go more in depth about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I even tried like external accountability with friends and like productivity partners and all that, and it would work. It would push me to achieve some results, achieve action, but none of it really stuck with me. At least that's what I felt because I was solving like for me the wrong problem.
Mhm.
What I said in the beginning is like it feels more like I'm treating the symptom and not like the root cause of the problem.
Mhm.
So if you're treating the symptom, you're not getting rid of the root problem. Like you're just treating what's already kind of faulty, or I don't want to use the word broken, but the
Mhm.
faulty system in your mind. So yeah, the real blocker for me wasn't like tools or systems. It was just that the unconscious beliefs I avoided for basically my entire life.
Super fire. Thank you, man. That's great. Okay, and what was the breakthrough moment? Like, what was the specific moment when you realized your limitations weren't your fault, but actually mental viruses installed in your operating system? And how did that realization feel?
Yeah, I mean, for me, at least during the course, it was when I had to identify my own mental viruses. So, like the ones actually running beneath the surface, like not the surface level
Yeah.
thoughts that we all have during the day. And I remember one exercise where I had to trace a consistent pattern of hesitation. Um, for me, actually, I identified that visibility equals danger. And that was one of my root problems that I identified during the course. And it was like, why would visibility equal danger? And for me, it's a root cause because it ties into what I said in the beginning, which is like, I'm not sending cold DMs, I'm not putting myself out there. I'm scared of rejection. I'm scared of charging high prices. Everything stems from visibility equals danger, which is not true.
Interesting.
Yeah. And for me, at least in that situation or scenario of bad circumstances, that was the root cause that I identified and the breakthrough moment, at least for me during the course.
Oh, super fun. That's great, man. Like I love always hearing these stories when these crazy epiphanies moments are coming, right? This is so fun. Okay. And what was the most shocking, maybe you already answered this question. What was the most shocking mental virus you discovered through the course? Once eliminated, what immediate changes did you notice in your implementation and business?
Actually, funnily enough, it's different from the one that I shared now.
Yeah.
It's mostly that I was a big fan of hustle culture, and especially growing up in Bulgaria and in the Balkan region. Like,
Imagine.
yeah, I growing up, it's like you're seeing your father, your mother, like, working tirelessly and upon day after day after day. And it's like if you had success, you always attribute it to struggling. And I had to identify that you don't have to struggle to be successful, even though that's what my environment taught me was true. Everyone that was seen on the street, happy, fulfilled, seemingly living a easy life, they would be deemed as a criminal or something that's wrong with them because they didn't struggle to get their wealth. While the reality is that they got their wealth through actually inspiring other people and being positive about their life and not having to struggle, which is a tough thing to break from, at least the environment that I come from. So eliminating that virus was definitely like switching off. Let's just use the term like a background app that was draining my battery. That's how it felt. And I started going into like giving myself permission to like simplify stuff. So like, make my work easier. Just no longer kind of being addicted to the hustle. Like I work based on like my own terms and conditions, not because I have to, do things I don't want to do. I, have a team behind me who help me with a lot of stuff. So I do focus on the things that I enjoy doing now, and I feel like that has yielded some phenomenal results.
Super fun. This is so great. Okay. And like, what immediate changes did you notice in in implementation and business after that?
Yeah, I mean, after debugging at least those like core mental viruses that I spoke of, so the two, um, immediate would be that I actually landed two new high value clients within weeks of identifying that. So
Right.
funny thing is, and I believe like every business owner listening to this now, there was no new offer, no extra funnel work, just literally following through on actions that I knew I should follow through and like removing the self-sabotage from my life. So again, I'm going to repeat this for the business owners. You don't need a new offer. You don't need a new funnel. You literally just need to debug your own mind because your business comes from your personal well-being. If you're not treating yourself right, your business is going to suffer. So, of course, revenue jumped substantially when I became more happy and positive because there is a direct correlation there. Um, Beyond the money, obviously, what made this ROI wild was that it felt simple. Like I didn't have to burn out anymore. I didn't have to, as I said, hustle extensively to achieve these new deals. I just had to show up, be a quality person, and actually care about, the people that I work with, and obviously just owning my value and feeling that I deserve what I get in life.
Super great. I love this, man. This is so fire, bro. I'm so excited, honestly, to hear that. Okay, so the emotional transformation. How was your day-to-day experience of being entrepreneur changed since debugging these mental viruses? What's the biggest difference in how you feel?
Well, I would say it's kind of like night and day just because of the weight that was on my shoulders, which stems from the root causes that I identified. So overthinking everything, kind of second guessing myself, and basically burning so much energy on just battling the resistance instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna observe my thoughts. I'm gonna see, come on, where do they even come from? How long do they stay in my mind? So a good representation in the course is like imagining your thoughts as clouds pass by in your mind and seeing, okay, you know, they come, they stay in your mind and they go. So it's not something that you have to carry with you. They're, just gonna pass along. So it's fine. You don't have to be so tight. So yeah, overthinking everything is what removed a lot of weight on my shoulders and allowed me to transform emotionally, I would say. The biggest difference, like, again, I don't waste energy trying to kind of prove myself or play mental games. I just do the thing that I know I should be doing, and that's powerful because the only person I'm trying to impress right now is me. So yeah.
Wow, so great. I get goosebumps from this one. This is so cool. Okay, and like, tangible results. You said also you got 2 new clients. So how much did your revenue increase while you were doing it?
Yeah, so I would say in that time it was about 30% increase in revenue in 2 weeks. So that would be the actual time when I'm engaging with the course, signing these 2 new deals. It would be 30% increase in my total revenue. And now I'm also on the verge of signing 3 new high value clients for me. Fingers crossed next week. So all of this is happening in the time frame of the course. And if that happens, I would literally just double my business in like, yeah, a couple of weeks.
Fuck yeah, that's so
So
great.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, then the next question is, what would you say to someone who is skeptical that mental debugging could really transform their business this quickly, and what would convince them?
First of all, I want to acknowledge that I do get the skepticism because I was in the same spot as you, whoever's listening to this. Again, coming from my environment, we don't invest in like therapies. We don't invest in like this type of mindset work. We kind of neglect it, and we hustle our whole life without actually paying attention. So if you're thinking like, because I was thinking like, how could a few mindset shifts kind of possibly, move the needle when I have real business problems? The actual truth is that it's not your skills that are holding you back. In my opinion, it's like the stuff in your head sabotaging your execution. So what convinced me was actually seeing the changes in how I showed up, how fast I moved, how many fewer decisions I avoided. The moment I stopped negotiating with my own doubts, that's when I actually started moving fast. And that's when I broke down this internal skepticism, because I do get that you think that mindset doesn't matter. You have real business problems. Your accountant is, following up with you. Your clients are being tough. Maybe they're having a bad day. Everything starts with how you're approaching life, because everything in your life is a mirror of your own internal self. So you need to be careful. You need to invest in yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Fucking fire, man. So great. Okay. And what would you say directly to someone watching this who knows they're capable of more, but keeps hitting invisible barriers to their success?
Yeah, I again want to start with reassurance and just say, like, you're not broken. So if you feel like there's a gap between your potential and like your actual results, you're not broken. You already have the vision. Maybe you're just not allowing it to flourish within you. So in my mind, at least, and it ties into the course, but it feels like you're running on outdated mental software, essentially. Which is true. You need an upgrade. So no matter how hard you push, if you haven't got that, if you've got internal friction, you're gonna keep burning out. So you might have wins, losses. You're gonna be growing your business, but if you don't fight, or not fight, but if you don't acknowledge your root problems, as I did with the course, you're gonna keep burning out, and it's gonna keep the friction within you is going to keep adding resistance, which shouldn't be there. So I would say, like, stop trying to outwork something that needs to be rewired. First of all, don't treat the symptoms. You already have the vision. So what you need now is, to clear the internal blocks stopping you from like actually stepping into your vision. Because I'm a firm believer that like everyone kind of already knows what they have to do. Even though your purpose might not be that obvious right now, it's much, much harder to step into it if you have these internal blocks within you. And I feel like your program really, really, really helped me identify these root causes and like act on them.
So great. Okay, super fire. Last question. What would you say to someone that is on the fence to join Limitless Rewired?
Yeah, and if you're thinking about joining Limitless Rewired, that means a part of you already knows that this is the shift you need. So I would say trust your instinct. The best things that have happened in my life was when I actually trusted my instinct. So with Limitless Rewired, I would say like this isn't just another mindset course with like fluffy motivation, because at least I felt it as a actual structured system that helps me from A to Z, delete mental blocks I didn't even realize were sabotaging my execution and confidence. It gave me practical tools to stop second guessing myself, and it finally uh, allowed me to move as a leader. So yeah, if you want to move as a leader and if you want to lead a successful business and a successful life in general, you should not be carrying these dead weights. You should give the course a chance. I feel like everyone is going to benefit from it greatly. And as I said, like my business and I have benefited tremendously from it.